Let's start by learning how to loop a fixed number of times. So we can turn our 3-second dance into, say, a 150-second dance. In EV3 programming, we say we're going to control our loop based on count. Okay, so this was our 9-second dance. Let me pan over and get rid of some of these blocks. I'm going to switch to the select tool again and select those blocks, and I'm hitting the delete key, and let's switch to pan again and move over. There we go. We've got 1 second, 2 seconds, back a half, forward a half. We still have one more block, so let me switch back to the normal select tool again. I'm just going to select that block, and actually you can hit the delete key, or you can just drag it down below there. It goes away. Okay, so we're going to have to take our first step into this orange area here called flow control. And what we're going to do is we are going to grab a loop block and we're going to jam it in front of our other code. And here's how you choose what type of loop you have. Right now you can see it's saying it's unlimited. I'm going to select that. Boy, there's a lot of stuff. We're going to pick loop count down here at the bottom. Okay. And I'm going to set the number of times to 2 because I want to get a 6-second dance, and honestly I don't want you to get bored while you're watching this. Trust me, you can try it with your own number, you know, stick in 50 there and do a 150-second dance. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab all these blocks that I want to happen 2 times and put them inside my loop. So now it's going to do all of this once and all of this twice. And I think I'm going to go back into the action blocks, that green category. So I'm just going to click there. And I'm going to add a couple of sound blocks. I'm going to put one before my loop. And this sound block is just going to, let's go into the Lego commands, go into communication, and we'll just say hi.
Hi.
So it's going to say hi once before we start, then we'll have the big loop, and then we're going to put one more sound block at the end, and this one will go into communication again, and this time we'll say
goodbye.
Okay, let me download that to my robot. Okay, let's take a look. Great. So, just to review. In this example, we set the control to count and then put in the number of times we want to repeat the code that is inside the loop. In our actual example, we set the count to 2 so it wouldn't take too long, but in this graphic, I've set the count to 50. Let's trace our program step by step so we can see what's going on. We trace these programs just like all our others, starting with the first block on the left. So, when we begin our program, our current block is the sound block. The EV3 says hi and then continues on to the next block. The next block is our loop block. Regardless of the type of loop block you use, they all begin the same way, with this kind of orange and white block with nothing in it. You want to think of that block as always saying, welcome, come in. Whenever you arrive at a new loop, it instantly welcomes you to enter into the loop. Okay, back to our trace. We arrived at the entrance of the loop. It said, welcome, come in. So we go in. Now we're on our first dance step. Go forward for 1 second. So the robot does that. Then the next step, go backward for 1 second. So the robot does that too. Then we do the turn left and the turn right. And now it gets interesting. We're at the end of our loop. The beginning of every loop always says, welcome, come in. The end of a loop can choose between saying one of 2 phrases. It can say, time to exit, which means you're done the loop, or it can say, do it again, which means you should go back to the start of the loop and do it again. The end of the loop chooses which phrase to say based on how the loop's block is set. In the case of this loop, we set the control to count and the number of times to 2. Since we haven't been through this loop 2 times yet, the end of the loop tells us to do it again. So here we are back at the beginning of the loop again. It says, "Welcome, come in," because that's what the beginning of the loop always says. So we go forward for 1 second, and backwards for 1 second, and turn left for half a second, and turn right for half a second. Now we get to the fun part. We told the loop we wanted to go through twice, and now we've done so. So the loop says to us, "Time to exit," and we leave the loop and continue moving on. In this case, we move on to a sound block which says goodbye, and then we reach the end of our program. So the EV3 cleans up. In other words, it resets the screen and makes sure the speaker and motors are turned off.